the press box tonight. Darryl does that swing thing in the Big Apple. They're singing Spanish Eyes at the British Open. In Toronto, it's 3, 2, 1, blast off! Lyle has a few reasons to celebrate, and Monica unmasked that Wimbledon mystery. Call the gorilla your dreams. It's press box time. Things could get a bit hairy. Good evening and welcome to the Press Box, everybody. I'm Larry Burnett with the inimitable Alan Massengale tonight. We're talking baseball. The Dodgers' theme song tonight was New York, New York.
Yeah, that's the city that never sleeps, you know, but the Dodgers are resting easier tonight. The drought is over, and we're not talking the weather. Southern California's second most talked about dry spell ended in Shea Stadium, mainly because the Dodger bats flooded the scoreboard with some runs, and the 7-game skid has been washed away. Didn't take long for the Dodgers to get it going. Former Met Darryl Strawberry 2 on, and he flat out rips it. It's going to sail out of there. A 3-run shot. Dodgers up in the first 3-0. Tommy says, yeah, I like these Mets guys that used to play here, like this one. Gary Carter up, and away, a 2-run blast. Dodgers up 5-0, and Tommy is really liking it. That is until the bottom of the second when Tim Belcher has problems after giving up 1 run. Greg Jeffries with the bases loaded triple, and just like that, it's 5-4, and Belcher's chased after only an inning and 2/3. 6-5 LA in the 7th when Cone serves up another fat one. Chris Gwynn, he nails it, sails out, his 3rd of the year, makes it 7-5 Dodgers. Finally, Alfredo Griffin would sew it up. Bases loaded. This is going to be good enough for a triple. Dodgers take a 10-5 lead, and the Brain Trust can breathe a sigh of relief as that nasty losing skid is over. So the Dodgers move out 4 games on the Braves, who were idle. Kevin Gross allowed only 1 run on 2 hits and 6 1/3 in relief. But the real relief, the slump, has been dumped.
The Angels have won just 2 of their last 10 games, but they were still only 4 games out of first heading into tonight's game with Cleveland. And as we all know, the Indians are the worst team in baseball. The Indians' Greg Swindell is not, though. He was twirling a beauty. In the bottom of the 5th, though, Dave Winfield drives one all the way back to the wall. Watch Albert Bell. Got it, don't have it, passed it, lost it. Winfield's up at second. Next batter, Dave Parker, single right up the middle. That was the Halos' first hit, and it gave them the lead 1-0. Meanwhile, Jim Abbott taking care of business tonight. Getting Chris James here, got 2 strikes already. Chalk up number 3. That kept his shutout intact, but Doug Rader worried in the top of the 8th, and with good reasons. Glenn Allen Hill rips a shot. Gary Gaetti can't handle it. Alex Cole scores that ties the game at 1. But Abbott got out of the inning by striking out James again. Wasn't enough, though. Glenn Allen Hill had an RBI single in the 8th to tie the game. Albert Bell had an RBI to make it 2-1. Mark Whitten has just got a 2-run double, so it's now 4-1 Indians. That game is in the top of the 9th. Abbott started it. He had lost his last 2 starts, and it doesn't look good tonight.
It was defending champion Nick Faldo's birthday, but it is Seve Ballesteros who's doing the celebrating. After 1 round of the British Open, the slashing Spaniard cut his way through the wind and the cold and carved out a 4-under 66. As for Faldo, maybe he'll party on Sunday because he's just 2 shots back. This is the scene, very familiar, overcast and foreboding conditions at Royal Birkdale for the 112th British Open. Not many birdies today, but there was a rodent. The mouse found his way under the course. Hey, no varmints allowed at the Open. Defending champion Nick Faldo right where he wants to be. 2 under par 68, despite missing this birdie putt on 18. Shot of the day, turned in by Brian Marchbank. On the 172-yard par 3 12th hole, Brian Marchbank sends it toward the hole, and a couple of 3 bounces, and an ace. Marchbank shot 72, your leader. 3-time British Open champion Seve Ballesteros, after a 375-yard drive on the par 5 17th, a 9-iron, just a few feet from the cup, he eagled the hole and tied for the lead. Jack Nicklaus, who almost withdrew after yesterday's practice round, returned to form on the par 3 7th hole. Jack dropped about 12 feet away. He's 4 strokes back after shooting 70. Seve missed the cut during last year's British Open, but today he set the pace. The eagle on 17 and now the birdie on 18. Seve leads after the first round with a beautiful 66.
It's funny that Billy, my caddy, told me that, well, just put this in because sometimes strange things happen.
Yeah.
And, well, I was trying to get as close as possible and the ball went in. You know?
Yeah. It just went in. He won this event in 79, 84, and 88. Behind him in his first British Open, Martin Gates, American Chip Beck, and another Spaniard, Santiago Luna. Another American, Gary Hallberg and Mike Reed, tied with Faldo. Five-time winner Tom Watson, -1 Masters champ, and favorite Ian Woosnam is even with Curtis Strange and Jack Nicklaus. Lee Trevino not out of it. U.S. Open champ Payne Stewart +2, and Gary Player is 5 over.
He ought to play well on those. Seve should, though, because it's so rough, and he's used to playing out of trees and parking lots and everything else.
He's a great trouble player. In adverse conditions, he thrives. He did today.
He sure did. Coming up, it's opening day at Rams and Chargers camps, but not all the campers are happy ones.
And in Toronto, the fuse is lit as the rocket explodes into action. And a nice gesture for a fallen former football warrior.
Tonight's Press Box is brought to you by Southern California Chevrolet and Geo dealers. Now get up to $1,500 in factory cash on selected models.
Welcome back to the Press Box, and the word from Toronto, we have liftoff, and all systems are go. Rocket Ismail burst onto the Canadian football scene, and he looked like, well, $1 million, which is actually considerably less than what he's making this year. But all eyes were on Raheem Ismail as he got set to receive his first ever kickoff for the Toronto Argonauts. Didn't do too badly. Watch this move. Going to bounce off the tacklers, go the other way, and he brings the ball up to the 23-yard line. The Argos owners enjoy what they see. Argos up 14-0 second quarter. The Rocket makes his first reception. Nailed it right there, 40 yards. That would lead to an Argos field goal and a 17-0 lead. Still in the second quarter, the Argos use a little trickery on the punt. Mike Clemens, there's the Rocket, and here he comes. He's moving. He's scooting. He's getting some blocks. Will he kick it all the way? One man to beat. He goes 78 yards to the 5-yard line. The fans seem to have forgotten all about the criticism. And with the Argos leading 20-10 at the half, Bruce McNall has a chance to maybe tamper with Brett Hull, the Blues. Hope not. The Argos continue to pour it on. Ricky Foggy hits D.K. Smith from 32 yards. 27-10 third quarter. Fans, they're loving it. And, of course, the Rocket not finished. Here on the kickoff. Watch this little ditty. Little move. Round he goes. This field is wider, and he is loving it. He's got lots of room to do his thing, and Bruce McNall had to be happy with that. 41-18, the Argos win. In the Rockets' debut, he had 213 total yards, 140 yards in the first half alone. He certainly lived up to his billing and has already taken this league to a higher entertainment level, and that's why he makes $4 million a year.
Well, back here in the States, Raiders running back Marcus Allen is primed to file an antitrust suit against the National Football League over free agency. Sporting News is reporting that the suit will be filed in U.S. District Court here in California, and that Allen will be joined in the suit by several other players based in the state. Allen is the Raiders' career rushing leader. He is signed for this season at $1.1 million, his fourth straight season without a pay raise. Well, the Rams today signed wide receiver Flipper Anderson to a 4-year deal, reportedly worth $600,000 per season. They also signed fullback Robert Delpino and second-round pick Roman Pfeiffer, the linebacker out of UCLA. But when the Rams officially opened training camp today in Irvine, Todd Light, their #1 draft pick, was not there. The press box has learned that the Rams have not talked contract with Light's agent Bob Wolf in almost a week. Wolf told me today that the Rams offered Light, the defensive back out of Notre Dame, a 5-year contract worth less than the 5-year, $4.5 million deal that Junior Seau, last year's #5 overall pick, got from the Chargers. Light is seeking a 4-year deal, reportedly worth $6 million. Wolf said the Rams told him to expect a call by the end of this week, but he was warned that it didn't mean that the call would be accompanied by a better offer. Well, with today's signings, the Rams' holdout list is now down to 8. Right at the top of the list, though, their #1 draft pick, and some big guys, some key players on that offensive line, Tom Newberry and Irv Pankey in there as well as veteran linebacker Fred Strickland. The list continues. Robert Cox on the offensive line, Buford McGee expected to vie for a starting spot at fullback, and George Bethune and Gerald Perry. Perry's not going to make it to camp for a while because he's in jail. The Chargers have problems of their own in La Jolla. All-pro running back Marion Butts is holding out for more money. And standout defensive end Lee Williams wants out of the Chargers organization. The good news for Chargers fans is that second-round draft pick Eric Bieniemy, the Colorado Cannonball, is signed and in camp. He led the Buffs to a share of the national championship last season. This season, he's ready to go with the Chargers.
We kind of underestimated what it would cost in the second round this year. A lot of teams did, and that took a little longer than usual. But, you know, that's not surprising.
Now, getting back to the Butts and Williams situation, Bobby Beathard says he's not budging. Their only option really is to withhold services. And as we found out in a couple of situations like Burline and like Hebert, it ain't a good option.
Well, you got to draw the line somewhere. These guys all want long-term contracts, but then if they have a good year, they want to renegotiate the contract. You can't have the security of the contract and then also get the benefit of a good year. You want a good contract? Sign for a year. If you get a better year, sign for something better.
My money's on Beathard in this situation.
I think he's going to hold tight, I guarantee you. Coming up, in the words of that Ray Charles hit, folks, it won't be long before it's Ryan time again. We'll be right back.
How long can the Ryan Express rumble on? The Texas Rangers are hoping at least 2 more years. That's why they have given the future Hall of Famer, Nolan Ryan, a new deal which includes option years for 1992 and 93. He would make $4.2 million next year and $3.9 in 93. Ryan is 44 years young and says he has every intention of pitching next season. He also has sights on another World Series.
Since my experience with 69 Mets, I wanted to be in another World Series, and I feel like that this organization is headed in that direction and has that capabilities. It's just a matter of whether we get it done or not, and I'd like to be a big part of that.
Tonight versus the Jays, the Ryan Express doing the loop-de-loop, top of the second. Nolan Ryan serves one up for Greg Myers, and he nails it deep into the seats.